Hello and welcome to episode 47 of Aravaipa Trail Talk. I'm Jam.
I'm Noah.
Not Jubes.
Not Jubes.
Okay, guys, we had a little mix-up in our show numbers last week, but we're all set again. So this week, I think we mentioned maybe last week, we're changing up the format a little bit of this show. It might not always be me and Jubilee. This week, it's Noah and myself, and I think next week, I'm going to force them two to put the show on without me. So it's going to be fun. Basically, this show, Aravaipa Trail Talk, we are going to check in every week, all things happening with Aravaipa running, and in a larger sense, trail running in general. So we have a few things we want to cover this week on this week's show, and then we'll move into a Q&A as we always do. As always, we tune in. We have a live broadcast going on Instagram, Facebook as well, so we'll be answering anything you want to ask about trail running or Aravaipa. Be sure to type your comments. We'll get to those before we're done. How you doing this week?
Awesome. Doing really good.
Sweet. Yeah. So we just came off of the Tushars mountain runs a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to talk to you about that because you're the race director for the event. How do you think it went? Because you had not been out to the mountains until a week before the race.
Right.
Like how?
Yeah.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I think it's funny. We talked about it all summer. Is like we should try to get up there and it'll be worth it. And then it was like I don't know when we're gonna do that. And then up till like 4 days prior, you might have been running Hard Rock. So it was
right.
Like, we didn't know if there was even going to be an opportunity then. But then we went, and Turtle came with us, and we bombed all over those mountains, and it was super valuable.
Such a long day. I think we left his house at 5 a.m.
Yeah, and got back at like 10
p.m.
at night.
Yeah.
And then flew out at like 5
And I think we crossed the mountain 3 times driving over it.
Yeah.
Just, like, it's just such a remote area. The mountains are so big that it just takes forever to drive.
Yeah, and when you get to the backside, you completely leave the mountains, which I think it's like 8 miles of running, right? From Mogollon to
run out
to Miners. It's like 8 miles, and it takes us an hour and 30 minutes to drive it because you have to completely leave the mountain, re-enter the mountains from a different area. So it was a good learning experience. And I think the race itself, I probably think it went as well as we could have asked, right? I mean,
I
there
think
was
so too.
Definitely some learning points, which we expected, but I think there was overall a lot of excitement, which I think is huge for us. I think the word of mouth hopefully is out there that we're in it for the long haul and we're ready to come back at 2019 with a bigger, better Tushars. So
yeah,
excited.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was cool to have Matt out there.
Yeah, what did you think of the race in general? So that Matt Gunn is the founder of the race. He was out there, and
that's cool.
It's a beast. But
I think it's unbelievable. I think I was saying it to the runners in our email after, but it's like the more you run in those mountains, the more like you fall in love with them. Like it's something about it. It's crazy because it's unsuspecting. I feel like is the thing. So you're running, and it's really nice single track, or there's some steep climbing, and then you get to a vista and it's just like, what? Where did this come from? Like it's just crazy. And it's like a point after point after point throughout the whole course, especially on the 100K, but every distance, even the half marathon, gets to go up Delano, which that from their view is the way we went up the week before. And that was a really cool view when you all of a sudden see Copper Bell Peak and Belknap and Mount Baldy.
Yeah, the highest peaks are kind of hidden, and that's kind of what they've always said, and we say about this race too. It's like a hidden mountain range of 12,000 foot peaks. Yeah. It's just kind of a little known area of Utah. It's not near Salt Lake. It's not near Moab. And so it's kind of forgotten about. And even driving up into the mountains, you get to Eagle Point, you still can't see the highest peaks.
No. Yeah, it doesn't
until
look.
you drive all the way up and over, kind of access the aid stations. And that's... I don't know. I remember even on race day, I think I drove up and topped out above the Mud Lake aid station, and it just like opens up and just see all these peaks.
It's pretty impressive.
It's spectacular. And I think my brother summed it up pretty well. He ran the race, and he did a race report and like a photo journal. He took like 100 photos during the race, and like I think about 70% of them were selfies, which was really funny. But he said the hard rock for everybody else, and it's really true. I mean, you don't have to. We don't have a qualifier for the 100K, do we, for anything?
No.
So there's no qualifier at the moment. It doesn't sell out. There's different distances, so you don't have to be a 100-mile runner. It really does give you a taste of. It's not exactly the San Juans, but parts of it remind me, and it's spectacular. It's high up there. Yeah.
Really, and it's I think in his point to hard rock is it's like you're either going straight up or straight down. Like there's a lot of that. It's just, I mean, 18,000 feet and 62 miles is pretty stout. I don't know that you'll find too many in that realm.
What were the sentiments of people coming across the finish line? Because I wasn't able to spend much time there. I was out running an aid station and kind of driving all over the mountains.
It's kind of what you expect. Like everybody's relieved to be done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they were just like super impressed. I think they were just happy to, like, wherever you went, it was hard. It made you push and dig deeper. And then, but it was at the same time, it was like I had to stop at the top of Edna and I had to stop at the top of Copperbell and take pictures because it was just too pretty to just keep going. And I think that's kind of what, like, the best of everything, right? And we were lucky. We had good weather too. We had one 10-minute hailstorm at the start finish, and I'm sure on course, I know the top of Delano got hit with some hail and fog and stuff, but
yeah, it seemed like there was that one big storm. I mean, the night before we were getting hammered. There was like scary. A crazy lightning storm that came through, which was just nuts.
That was a little unnerving going to bed with that, thinking if this happens again tomorrow, we might be in some trouble. But we were lucky, so it went really well. I'm super excited, and those mountains are mountains you need to go see, no doubt about it.
Yeah, put it on your bucket list. It is, and it's really kind of not like any of our other Aravaipa races that we currently put on.
True.
I mean, Mogollon is kind of maybe the most challenging that we've had so far until this one, and this is just, it's a true mountain race, and it's spectacular.
And it's a great Tushars into Mogollon a month later.
Yeah.
Or 6 weeks later.
Great little training. Yeah, and there's people doing that this year.
Yeah, we got a few people.
Quite a few, actually.
Cool. They'll be ready because of that race.
So shifting gears, for you personally, you headed back to Utah the week, like less than a week later. Tell us about that. What race did you run? How did you decide to do it? It was your second 100-mile.
Yeah. So, it was kind of a summer of Utah. It was my fourth trip to Utah since the end of June. I made it up for the Twisted Fork Ultra in Park City.
That's right.
And then, which was their inaugural event. Then we did 2 trips for Tushars, and then 4 days later, we were driving up to Moab area for the Ute 100 trail race. And that was their first year. That's a Run Bum, Sean Blanton race. And it was kind of one of those races. Like, I had been to Moab years back doing the full tour, like the Arches and Canyonlands, and we did some backcountry stuff there. But I remember seeing the mountains in the distance and being like, man, those look pretty impressive. And then I saw this race pop up and kind of jumped on it. I was like, well, let's see. Give it another shot, doing another 100. And it didn't disappoint. There was a lot of cool things about it. Overall, I thought it was run really well, especially for a first year, and he doesn't live there or anything. He kind of nailed it with that. Same thing. I think it was harder than I expected. It was probably definitely tried some. There was some times late in the race where I was like, I can't believe we're still climbing. And
you said there was like a big climb right near the end too.
Yeah, a couple big climbs, but one, there's long stretches in between the aid. So there was like a 15-mile stretch from 85 or 84 to 100 with no aid. There's like a water station at 3 miles out on a dirt road. So that's kind of the prep. But there was like a 2,000-foot climb at mile 90, which is similar to Mogollons, but this one we learned in Utah they don't really use switchbacks. It's kind of just straight up the mountain. So there was a lot of the both hands on your knees, take a couple steps, take a few breaths, take a couple steps, take a couple breaths. But I can't complain. Overall, I look back and it was slower than I expected overall time, but I think in perspective, I did all right. And I was able to run through 100 miles, so that's all you can ask for, really. Yeah,
how'd that compare to your first one? Because you ran Mogollon last year for the first time.
It was harder, I thought. I don't know. I was trying to figure it out. Like, was the course harder? Or, I knew Mogollon kind of intimately in that regard, whereas, like, I knew
what
stretches and I knew when the climbs were coming. And this, I could just look at the elevation profile and expect it, but... there was a lot of time at 10,000 feet at the Ute And we went over 12,000 for Man's Peak, which was incredibly beautiful.
definitely a lot higher in elevation.
A lot higher
overall.
in elevation. And I think that was, between that and like the distance between aid stations, probably was the difference maker for me, where you went 14 and a half without aid to start the race, and then another 12 something after that. So like in 26 miles, you'd only had, 2 aids, which kind of adds up. But it was really pretty. The LaSalles are kind of similar to Tushars in that regard, just, high alpine, and the Man's Peak you could see into Moab and Castle Valley, and there were some points that were really pretty. And
I think the high points of each course are within 100 feet of each other.
Yeah, I think
something
so,
like that.
yeah.
It's really pretty close.
Yeah.
Now, did you see any mountain goats up there? I know that's a big thing in Tushars. There's a couple big herds of goats that are just mountain goats hanging around the summit of Delano. You didn't get to see
goats.
them?
We saw a lot of cattle.
Okay.
A lot of cattle.
So cows.
Same thing we ran into in Tushars. They're eating the flags and ribbons and stuff.
Ripping out the signs and things.
Yeah. But, I didn't really see much wildlife, but I don't know. Yeah.
Head down.
Yeah.
Now, shifting gears maybe a little bit towards Mogollon, for some of the people tuning in, you helped start that race with your brother. How did that whole thing happen?
The actual, how did it get going?
Yeah. I'm curious. I don't know if we've told that story much.
I think, it kind of started with Jeremy, probably around, I would guess, 2010, 2009, 2010 maybe. We started to go up there and kind of explore the Mogollon Rim. And I think the Mogollon Rim kind of has that, aha moment as well in Arizona, where you get up there and you're like, this is Arizona? This is incredible. And the terrain varies so much between the bottom of the rim, where the High Line, which is pretty much what we run on the bottom, which is a National Historic Trail, and then you get to where it's kind of high desert, or I don't know what you would call that, because it's about 5,500 feet.
It's probably high desert.
So there's
the red rocks, and there's cactus mixed,
trees,
interspersed with
junipers
and shrubs and stuff like that.
And then you get to the top where the cabin loop is. Most people don't know what that either is. And the cabin loop's just incredible. Really nice single track and ferns up to your chest and huge ponderosa pines and stuff. So anyway, I think what happened is Jeremy started doing that, and then he got together with Jeff Jones, who's kind of been in the running community forever. And he knew the rim very well. So he kind of got in, and he's like, we can make a race here. And they started working together back and forth, and just came up with a course. It was 106 miles, just kind of how it worked out, and super hard and rugged. And so I think 2012, I believe, was the first year came to fruition, and that was a good learning experience. There was some lessons learned. Jamil ran, he won it.
Yeah.
So
it's always fun running an inaugural, especially for people that are inaugurally putting on a race.
Yes, right.
There was
even
a lot better.
Yeah.
You just have to go into it with a mindset of, okay, I got to be maybe more self-reliant than I would.
Yeah.
And, that played out well for me, because I studied the maps and Jeremy put together a really good course description. It was so detailed, paragraphs worth of information.
Yeah, and that's what I always tell people, actually, is that
me.
in the first year, you shrunk it down and had note cards, right?
I think I laminated them, and I put them in my drop bag, so I picked them up along the way. Yeah,
which is just a great idea, because it is rugged, and the Highline's changed over the last 3 years. They've done a ton of trail work to make it a little more manageable running wise,
which kind of bums me out a little bit.
Totally.
It was the ruggedness was why I think it was sought after and so cool, and now they've lengthened it, put in switchbacks.
Right, instead of going straight up a rocky hill, you kind of go around and skirt around.
It's great for the mountain bikers, probably.
Yes.
Or some of them, and maybe hikers, your everyday hikers, but for us runners.
And then we just sound like crotchety old men, being like,
right.
I used to run it.
I know.
A lot rougher. So you can't really explain it, but it has changed. The Hell's Gate Wilderness area specifically is dramatically different, in my opinion, but it will make it more runnable. But we think because of that, it should be over 100 miles, a little bit over, maybe 101.
And you like that. I can
like
tell.
That, yeah.
You wanted to get back up to 106 probably.
We couldn't do that route anymore now. It'd be like
112.
Yeah. Because Pine Canyon got
longer. We had to take that
too.
one out. Yeah, that is unfortunate. That was a pretty cool part. But
yeah, so that's kind of what happened. And then 2015 was our last race doing it, just Jeremy and I. And Jeremy was about to move, and he was like,
can't do this.
A lot going on.
Yeah,
we had 5. I think at that point we just had our fifth between the two of us kids, like under 5 years old, and he was GM of a hotel and potentially moving out of the state, which he did end up doing. And then that's when you stepped in. Aravaipa took it over in 2016.
Yep.
Late, kind of same thing as Tushars, right?
Well, yeah, I think he officially canceled
been
it.
killed,
It was like,
yeah.
it's not happening, and then it took about a month for us to figure out and say it was back on, and by then we had lost half the field.
Yeah, and we had good momentum.
Went from 80
2015,
people to 40 starters.
Yeah,
I think in 1 year, and then it's kind of like been building back up. And actually, the race just sold out for this year.
yes.
So we
Which
do
is
have
exciting.
we do have a wait list. Just with the Forest Service permits right now, that's where it's at. But jump on the wait list if you are interested still. We're hoping to maybe find a couple more spots, or there's usually always people that have to drop out for various reasons. So jump on the list, and hopefully we'll find a spot for everyone. We just we don't know right now. There's like 4 people on the list currently, so that's looking positive. If it was 30, probably not.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to work with the Forest Service and figure out what we can officially do, but excited it'll be sellout. So
yeah, definitely.
People that jumped on it, thank you for registering and coming out and running with us. I know some of you are with us because of the Northwest races that were unfortunately canceled, but thank you. Arizona's been pretty lucky with weather.
Yeah, well, we haven't had any giant fires this year. There's been
May
years
they
where
had
it's been
one.
awful, but right now the Pacific Northwest and Northern California, Canada, it's awful.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, any of you guys tuning in live, Instagram or Facebook, please leave your questions for us, for me, for Noah. If you want to ask us about Tushars, about Noah's run at the Ute, about Mogollon, or anything else. We've got a lot going on, lots of experience, so feel free to drop questions in there. Be happy to answer them. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's see, what else about Mogollon? Yeah, we have a couple other distances now.
Yeah.
So there's the 35K on Sunday is actually pretty big this year.
Yeah, the 35Ks, I think that's a great challenge for people that aren't quite ready for the ultra distance, because it's 22, 23 miles, and I think it's like 4,500 feet of gain over that.
Yeah, you do the first and last climb of the 100-mile race.
And you get a great
they're tough.
descent, like Turkey Springs descent's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to see some really great parts of the course. So I think that was a nice addition. And it's Sunday, so you're seeing, when you're starting your race, which is kind of cool, the 100-milers, so you're at mile 4, say, or in the first 12 miles, you're seeing the 100-milers in their last 10 miles. So you're like kind of fresh,
You're
and
just
you're seeing
flying
them
by
like,
them.
like get me to
basically.
the finish, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. It's good energy for the race, and because we finish in the town of Pine rather than at the trailhead, people run down the street, and it gives more people. There's more action at the finish and more cheering and more spectators, which is what we had envisioned when we started it there, or finished it there. Originally, you finish in the town of Pine.
I do love that finish. It is fun, even though you're kind of on the pavement for the last couple.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you're kind of looking forward to that after all the tough miles, but it is fun.
It's like a victory
running
lap
through
almost.
town, and there's
Yeah.
people cheering. And now with the 35K finishing on Sunday, I remember when I came in to finish 2012, it was like Jeremy was just like
Yeah, it's just you.
handshake and you're done.
Yeah.
But now there's quite a few people hanging out. There's a huge ramada with shade and
Yeah. Most of the
a good
finishers will
crowd.
get that finish, yeah.
Yeah.
The leaders are they're going to be in the dark probably, but
right.
or the winners, I should say, yeah.
Yeah, 21 hours is what
Yeah.
they've been doing.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get somebody in that range again.
We just had Gavin Woody sign up.
Yeah, that's exciting.
He won the Iditarod 350, is that right?
Foot race, yeah.
Foot race.
Him and somebody else must have run together, or I don't know if they ran together. I don't know exactly how that works. It's kind of blowing my mind. It was like 5 days and 10 hours, 350 miles in March in Alaska. But he's coming, so
that's awesome.
Pretty awesome, yeah.
We got some other strong people. I know Sion Lupowitz is signed up.
Yeah, Sion's come back.
He's part of the Aravaipa racing team, and he's finished.
If he won or second or
I think maybe he was podium one year. I
should
think.
probably know that, but I'm pretty sure he was up there.
We'll find out and we'll do like a follow up on Mogollon closer. Maybe you guys can talk about that next week.
Yeah, I was thinking I could look and get some.
Talk about the competition and women. Is Nadine? She's coming back.
Nadine's coming back. She won. Angela Chartel's coming back.
Oh yeah, Angela.
She's been running better, I think, this year.
Well, she came the year that it was canceled mid-race. I was supposed to pace her. I was hanging out at Washington Park, and we got the word it was canceled, and she was pretty bummed. So
yeah, we heard about that.
She's
from her.
We don't need to rub it in, but she is. I know she's excited to come back. And she is like in shape, and she's coming back from an injury as well.
Yeah.
That was a while ago, but
she podiumed at Coldwater. I think that was last time I saw her.
Yeah, that was like her first big run back,
Yeah,
and she was just going to
pumped,
walk it.
That's
And
what
she turns
said,
out she podiumed. So I can't wait to see. She's a mountain crusher.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's her.
she's going to be. This is her kind of course.
Cool.
Definitely, it's going to be fun to see her out there. Yeah. What else? Anything else?
Yeah, no.
Top of mind.
I don't think we'll have. I didn't see Fred Roberts on there. He would have been our 5-time finisher. I think our only one. But so we'll see if he contacts us or jumps on the wait list. Maybe we can, because that would be cool. Because we don't have any 5-time finishers. But yeah, that's it. We're excited about it. So yeah, keep up.
It's a Hard Rock qualifier, and
Yeah.
it's really it's a great event. Yeah, I'm not sure my role yet this year, but I might try and do some video stuff out there on course and try and capture some more of that. We'll see.
Yeah, you'll have a little fatigue.
Yeah,
Although there is somebody running the Tahoe 200.
and Mogollon.
And
Well, that
Mogollon.
happened last year.
Yeah,
Sean
did it.
Who's doing it this year?
Crazy. I can't remember the guy's name, but
Cool.
I noticed he was doing that.
We're going to jump into some questions. So we're going to go to Instagram and Facebook right now. Again, if you guys are tuning in, please pop a question below for me or Noah, and we'll answer it right now for you. And just a reminder, too, you can leave comments on the YouTube or Facebook video that you guys see later, and we'll work on getting
the
to it next
Netherlands.
week.
If I just scroll down on these or
You might need to scroll all the way up.
up. Where's the thing?
Maybe there is no up. Oh, no, there you go. Yeah, I scrolled down. Let's see. Louis Brennan finished my first 25K on Saturday. Woot woot. Awesome.
Nice.
Just
Heck
getting
yeah.
into it. It's a great place to start. Let's see. Somniu Model asks, where's Western State's 2018 footage?
On topic. There we go.
I think it's right here, actually. Yeah, I haven't had time to dive and edit any of that yet, but there is. We have a lot of it, so hopefully we'll get to that pretty soon. I've just kind of got restoked on some video stuff, actually. I was just at Pikes Peak over the weekend, and I was working with a bunch of other video filmmakers, content creators, to cover the Golden Trail Series race.
So that was with Salomon, right?
Yeah, well, so yeah, like Solomon brought me out there
Yeah.
to help cover the race because they are like the main presenting sponsor of the Golden Trail Series, which is, it links up like 5 iconic races around the world, and then there's a final. And so yeah, we were out running on course, chasing the leaders around, and yeah, just being around all them, I was kind of like, man, I should get some of my projects finished up because I've got a lot of loose ends. I mean, we filmed a whole thing about Noah and Jeremy last year for Mogollon,
Oh,
and
that's right, yeah.
still in the works as well.
That'd be fun to see.
Yeah, hopefully I'd like to get that one out before this year. T. Jeff runs. I don't know what's happening, but what up, Jamil and the Aravaipa team? This is Aravaipa Trail Talk.
Here we are.
This is it's been a while, so we don't fault you for it if you just started following us. But this is going to be a weekly show again, and we're just going to kind of touch base about things going on with Aravaipa and give you guys a chance to interact with myself, with our race directors. Noah is a race director here with us, and you guys know Jubilee as well. She'll be back next week on the show. We're going to kind of tag team it so that we can keep it consistent every week. Ryan Paul Coach, do you need high clearance vehicle to access Washington Park aid station?
Technically, no. I know we listed as you do because that road has been prone to getting washed out because it's just the way it comes off the rim, but no would be the answer.
They usually grade it.
Yeah, they're pretty good about it, even when it gets washed out, that they'll come back and do it. But I haven't taken that off the site just because I feel like I'd rather err on the side of caution with that. But generally, people can get in with standard cars.
Cool. You got any over there?
We got somebody from the Netherlands tuning in. It's pretty cool. Did you use pacers, or do you like to run by yourself? That's for the U. So he's asking if I had a pacer for the U. I did not have a pacer. That was kind of the whole idea. When I went, the big difference from Mogollon, my first 100 was I ran the whole thing with my brother, which is kind of impressive in itself. But
you didn't kill each other or anything?
We ran, the whole 100 miles. So I was with somebody the whole time, and I already knew the course and everything. So this one, I kind of wanted to put myself out there and have no pacer. And I knew one other guy, really, just Jeremy from here, not my brother, another Jeremy. And we ran none. We like the first half mile or so, but so no pacer. I ended up running into this woman, Lee. I think her last name's Connor. She was like the second overall female, and we ran a lot together, on and off, probably 50 miles through the night. We stayed together. She doesn't eat on her hundreds, which I thought was kind of crazy.
At all?
She has like
just,
gels and
so like
like some
liquid
kind of
nutrition?
liquid nutrition.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's tough. So we ran a good amount together. This other guy, Joshua, was kind of bouncing back and forth, but I didn't have a pacer. My wife was there with our kids crewing me, so she was there after 32 or something. You could have crew. So she was there, and she came through the night and drove all over those mountains and stuff. But yeah,
Nice.
Nutrition, solids or liquids. I like to eat at the aid stations personally.
What was your favorite thing out at Ute?
bacon?
Bacon.
Yeah, crispy bacon everywhere. Yeah, he had cookies and everything else, and
So you can have a bacon aid station at Mogollon?
I think we should.
Yeah. Washington
Good
Park
crispy
probably at
bacon
least.
somewhere. Yeah,
Somewhere else maybe.
that was nice. But I just drink water on the course, and then I'll have electrolytes a little bit at the aid stations. Kind of like a no frills. Like I had a couple gels, but 2 of them I drank, or 8, after like mile 85, because I was starting to get tired, and I thought it would help, and it didn't. That's one thing I would try to do again, is probably wean myself off caffeine leading up to the race, because I feel like it would have a better reaction, because I drink coffee every day, and I ate those, and it was like completely useless.
Didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything.
I'm in trouble for Tahoe.
And it would have been helpful, yeah, because I could have used that little kick there, but
Yeah.
I didn't get it. So,
Gotcha.
Joseph, what did you do different the race that you learned from your first 100? I didn't do a ton differently. I guess the big thing I was scared of in the first 100 was like after mile 60, I always heard stories of just everything kind of falling, the wheels falling off, and so I was kind of a little more. We kind of just eased into it, but our policy really, or my policy, is kind of just don't run any hills. Like just hike the hills, and I try to keep the slow miles faster, like, and avoid the 35, 40-minute miles. But didn't really. That's kind of what I stuck to at this race, and it seemed to work. And as long as my stomach was feeling good, and I knew I was going to be tired, but you kind of just manage the tired. That's kind of what it is. If you're not hurt, then you're going to be tired, right? It's a long way. And so,
Yeah.
Cyan was second, Marisa says.
She's on.
Thanks
She's
for the
on
clarification.
It. She's on it.
I think that might be it. I can't tell if I'm.
That's it. Let me see.
Oh, no. Never been point to point. No. The only thing that changed was where the start went up the rim. So it used to go farther north up the rim, Pine Canyon, from the same trailhead, and now it kind of just goes east and then straight up the rim. So it's not a huge difference.
I mean, point to point, it doesn't.
It's kind of
It
point to
doesn't
point.
finish where it starts, but it's
Right.
also not a loop. It's also not an out and back. It's kind of a mix of a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's a unique layout. I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah, because you go over some of the same terrain, but overall you're only touching probably 80-90% of the course once. Like
Yeah, and almost never in the same direction too. Like
True.
there's one
Yeah.
you do the Houston Brothers Trail early in the race one direction, and then later in the race in the opposite. And
Yeah.
one's in the day, one's in the night. So it
Yeah.
basically feels like a different trail. Like you wouldn't,
and
you
it
probably
is
wouldn't
much
even
different.
know.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, in the
Yeah.
High Line you're going different directions. And
Yeah, and one's in the day, one's in the night.
Yep.
Usually, some people
Yeah.
will be like the whole next day, but
yeah.
so that's pretty cool.
Should be a great experience doing my second ultra in a couple weeks. The Freedom Trail 44K. Shout out. Commemorate the big battle of World War II.
Interesting.
What memorable aid stations, what made them so special? Oh, most memorable.
Most memorable?
Is this just in general?
Just in general. Oh, yeah. I mean, for me, it's got to be Kroger's Canteen at Hard Rock 100 is probably the most memorable. It's such a crazy spot. You're up in this little notch at 13,000 feet, and the crew that's there is unbelievable. It's like rock stars. You go in there, and it's like Scott Jurek and Rock Horton and Jeff Browning.
That's cool.
And they're giving you shots of tequila and hot pierogies. It's really, really cool.
That's awesome.
That's probably my most memorable.
That's cool. I always remember, like, I paced Jeremy at the Cascade Crest 100 at like 93 or 88 or something, they had like a full-on pancake breakfast on the top of a mountain and champagne, and we were doing like drinking mimosas. He's like, what the hell are you doing right now? Get out of here. But I always think about that one. That was a fun one because I was just pacing, so I wasn't 80 something miles in. But
yeah, I think the most memorable aid station at an Aravaipa event, I mean, is hands down Jackass Junction aid station. If you guys haven't experienced that, come out and run either Javelina or the new Jackass Night Trail, which you can get out there during the peak of the party while only having to run 31K or 62K. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And you can spend as much time out there as you want. So check that one out. That's like, I think not a lot of people know about that option yet. It's kind of a little hidden gem that we've got going on. But I think once people figure it out, it's going to be crazy next year.
Yeah, I went out there last year for the first time at like 11 p.m. because I set up all week and I was like, I got to at least see this. Like, I can't go through the whole 30-hour race without seeing it. And I remember I was like wide-eyed the whole time, like, oh my God, what is going on? It is impressive. And in the meantime, people are running 100 miles. It's not like they're running, you know, it's like, that's what amazes me. It's like people are out here ripping it up and it's like, you're running 100 miles right now. It's cool.
I've got Wandering Barry, Walmsley or Killian at UTMB. What do you think? Have you seen Walmsley's training lately?
We kind of saw it a little bit.
He did three 140-mile weeks with 50,000 feet of climbing. I mean, if the guy stays healthy and it's hard to bet against him, honestly.
And he did fifth, right? Last year, was it something like that? He was like top five,
fifth,
right?
and had some problems, but I don't know, like he's pretty unstoppable. But also, I mean, it also is Killian, and Killian last year, I think, you know, he ran Hard Rock, and he's like Facebook streaming from his phone the first hour of the race, just kind of like goofing off, and I think, you know, that caught up to him. He placed second.
Yeah, I think
what I've kind of read and what I probably agree with is I think he's going to take it more seriously this year. I don't think he's going to be Facebook streaming. I think he wants to win that thing, and he's been in top form since his comeback from his injury. He's beaten his times from before. He's winning all these shorter sky races. You know he's going to be ready. He's probably he's probably putting in just as much work as Walmsley, if not more.
Yeah. Like
big days in the mountains. He knows what he's doing, and it's Killian. I mean, it's a pretty epic
too.
It's a pretty epic duo. Who would you give it to? Who would you want to see take it? You want to see Walmsley go?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'd like to see a good battle. I'd like to see, because
more than anything,
then they're going to push each other. Yeah. If something happens early on and somebody's like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Well, it'd be cool to see them both finish and both give it their all, and not have someone have like, some excuse or sickness or something.
Yeah,
that would be.
I agree. Like, it'd be cool to see somebody win rather than someone else lose, like because of whatever. I feel like that's what happens a lot in those.
Steven Sinek, this is the Painted Warrior.
Yeah.
Remember him? He says, this makes for good listening while I pack up my gear and nutrition for the weekend. Welcome back to AZ. I think he's probably running Vertigo 52K.
Probably, yeah. Probably signing up day of.
Yeah. He's probably signing up still. Have any more down there? Oh, yeah.
What is different this year from previous years? Do you think it's just
read it out loud so that the audience can hear?
Question from Sarah says, Mogollon sold out this year. What is different this year from previous years? Do you think it's just timing, or was there a push to market the race this year?
I think word of mouth. Like, it just gets out there. I think people had we introduced the shorter distances last year.
That definitely made a difference. But the 100 grew we probably jumped 30-something spots this year, right?
Yeah.
I think, word of mouth. I think the Hard Rock qualifier definitely helps us when people get to this point in their summer and they're kind of like, okay, now it's, they've tried other hundreds and maybe weren't successful, or they had the two that got canceled, unfortunately. So I think there's a combination of that. But I think people get up there, honestly, and they see that course and they're like,
I think it's just
pretty amazing.
I think it's just a matter of time until it's. I mean, I don't know what we can get permit-wise, but I think it could be a 250, 300-person 100-mile race just alone.
Yeah.
Like, it's just as good as Bear or Wasatch or anything else. It's just those races have been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I think when this race hits, even year 10, I think we could see 200 people, and year 15 we could see even more. So it's a great race.
Yeah, I agree. And the setup of the race is good. Like, it kind of flows nicely. You get your mix of the single track on top of the rim and below the rim. It pushes you. It's hard. Yeah. when you hit the spots. And
yeah, and I don't know that we like pushed specifically more marketing this year than other years. Just kind of tried to maintain. We did a couple training runs. We were a little bit scared because of the forest closures.
Yeah, and so I think even that's true. I mean, last year we had probably more successful training runs, but we got to go out and go on Myrtle this year, and I don't know if that scared people off, where it was an alternate course, or maybe I think it's just probably another year under the belt of the monster. I think that's really what it is. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
What I gotta do here. John chiming in here. Andy Pearson had a fond memory of Mogollon. Something about a 2,500-foot climb in the last few miles. What was the name given to that climb? I forget. I don't know if we can say that live.
He's trolling us right now.
It's on the website, John.
It's the Wes Weber climb.
The Wes Weber climb at 90.
There
91,
might be a nickname, but you're gonna have to come run the race to find out what the nickname is. We'll tell you in person. If you come run Mogollon, we'll tell you in person the nickname for that race, unless someone spoils it and leaves it in the comments.
Yeah, they can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I think that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. Just a reminder, we're gonna try and go live with the show. I think every Tuesday afternoon, evening. It just kind of depends on our schedule. So thanks for tuning in. Once again, I'm Jamil.
Noah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next week's show.